welcome to the Grown Up Show, everyone. We're being a grown up is always up for debate. My name is Danny Barros, alongside my longtime buddy Anthony Hall.
What's up?
We made it to the big milestone, episode 20, man. This almost calls for like a 2-beer celebration or something.
Oh, you're getting crazy, bro.
No, I'm just kidding. I just can't decide which one to have, to be honest.
Nice.
Maybe I'll just will drink them both. We'll see.
I wouldn't judge.
Yeah,
man, 20, that's crazy. It hasn't been 20 weeks, but
it's been more than that. But
a couple breaks.
It just goes to show that there's been 20 different occasions that we've sat down to actually do this, which that's an accomplishment in and of itself, I think. So,
absolutely.
So we'll definitely cheers to that. Why don't we just get right into it then, man?
Yeah, man.
What's on tap today, bro?
I'm going back to good old Great Notion. Before I show this and open it, the thing I love about this brewery is like they constantly are coming out with new beers, right? And it's cool because they actually have an app. You can order pickup from the app. You can order delivery too. The downside of the delivery is it's $100 minimum, and I'm just not trying to spend like $100. I don't drink often enough right now to spend $100 without it going bad. But the pickup's cool. There's 2 locations here. There's one in downtown Portland and there's one in Beaverton, which is a little closer to me. But it's cool because you can just you can pick what you want and then just walk right in and pick it up. It's dope. And it's cool because this one that I actually have is one that I've been watching the app for about, I think, almost 3 weeks, waiting for it to release. And they finally did. You remember the Juice Invader I had? It was either last episode. I think it was actually last episode. Well, this is a same thing, but it's blackberry Juice Invader. So
nice.
And it's cool. They come in little 4-packs. I got this and I got 2 other ones, so I'm gonna save those for probably the next episodes.
So let me guess, 3 4-packs cost you like around $60.
Yeah, exactly. $20 4-pack.
Isn't that crazy? So like you today you bought a 12-pack for $60.
And yeah, I know.
If I'd have told you that when we were like 19, 20, like hanging out on a Saturday, you'd be like, what? Like, you can get a keg for that much. You know?
Seriously, dude. So yeah, but as you get older, it's so funny, like the differences, right? Like back in the day when like you got like a $20 allowance, right? Like it's like, dude, that was, $10. I mean, we were troublemakers too, but it was like $10 for beer, $5 for something else, $5 for munchies, and like you were set for the weekend. And now it's like, $60 for a few beers. Yeah, no problem. No problem. That's actually a pretty good deal for the quality of beer and everything. But I have not tried one of these yet. I'm not even kidding you. It literally released this morning at 9 a.m. This was actually brewed or canned on 11:30. So this is like
super fresh.
I got it midday. I had to take work off today for some family stuff. So I went there early, and she was like, I was like the 3rd person to come in and grab these. So
nice.
I got one of the first batches. So I'm excited. I've been waiting for this.
Let's see. Let us know how it tastes, man.
Yeah.
The suspense is killing
me. I'm nervous because like the anticipation, like the possible letdown.
Yeah.
It's perfect, dude. Oh, that's so good.
Nice.
I can taste the blackberry.
Oh, it's perfect. So, right up your alley. Mask all those hops in there for you.
Dude. 7% alcohol, and they don't do the IBUs. I think next time I go in there, I might tell them like, hey, you guys should really put the IBUs.
They should they'll know it. Like they have like a recipe sheet that has all the vitals on there. They just for whatever reason aren't putting it on their label.
I just love their artwork on these cans.
The artwork and all of this stuff is getting really, really, really cool.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
So it's like almost the same as the one I had last week. The only difference is they got like the dude with his pants full of hops, I think, or something. I think they're hops.
Yeah. They're hop cones.
Yeah. So.
Or blackberries, either one.
They're like, they're like beaming them up to. Oh, I bet you they're black. They're supposed to be blackberries, and they're like beaming them up to steal them or something. I don't know, but it's the same style artwork, but they get super creative with it. So this is really good. You know what I might do? How is it hard to ship beer? How do you ship
Um,
beer? It just has to be ground, right? It just has to make sure it's ground.
yeah, you can do it.
I'm gonna ship you. I'm gonna ship you some from this brewery because I think you'd like this place.
Yeah, you can do it. Or
Hmm.
ask them where they distribute from, and maybe it's somewhere close by. Because a lot of Oregon stuff does make its way elsewhere,
Yeah, yeah,
but not all of it, of course.
yeah.
But yeah, similar to you, man. I had a stop in my local brewery last week, and I bought 4 packs. It was like $85. So it's like, when you break it down, you're basically like, if you went to a bar or somewhere and sat down and ordered a beer, you're paying what that cost is, like,
Yeah.
per pint. It's like,
Yeah.
if it's $6 for a beer, that's basically what you're paying, or $4. $6 with tip and whatnot. So
Yeah. The other thing
it's
is
not
like
bad.
the beers that we get though, they're not 12-ounce cans.
They're 16.
Either. They're 16s, and it's like you're paying for
It's a full pint
premium.
Well, yeah. I mean, if your
beers,
plan is to sit there and drink 6 to 8 beers because today's a drinking day and like you used to, it's like, well, you're drinking the wrong beer.
Yeah,
Like, then you want to go get like some
You're-
Bud Light or Coors Light or some
Yeah.
Pabst Ribbon or something like that. That's easier to drink throughout the day, like a lager, something that's not going to sit in your stomach and just weigh you down like a sack of like rocks or whatnot. But
yeah.
so yeah, I went back to my favorite establishment, the Hop Dog One Brewing Company, and just like your buds up there, they keep cranking out some new beers, and I've got 2 here that I've been going back and forth that I'm not really sure on. So
Have you
I'll
tried
share
either of them yet?
Yeah, I have tried both.
Okay.
And they're good. So the one is Congress of Jackals. They got like some jackals on there.
Cool.
And this is a like a hazy double IPA, 7.7%. But I think the one that I'm gonna drink right now is it's called A Dashing Bold Adventure, and it's a Pacific Northwest West Coast IPA, ABV about 6.8. So the difference of the two, obviously, the hazy is a little bit more fruity, less IBUs, not as much bitterness, and more smoother, fruity aftertaste. Whereas I gravitate towards the West Coast IPA style, a little bit more hop forward, a little bit more bang and bite right off the get go. Yeah, this one has Simcoe, Idaho 7, and Centennial hops in it, and tons of nice piney fir tips and orange zest notes in it. So cheers to a dashing bold adventure.
Cheers,
For
man.
some reason, when I read that dashing bold adventure, it makes me say it in like an English accent.
Yeah, I caught that a little bit.
Why.
Cheerio.
Yeah.
See these, like, I think that's the one downside is these cans, their labels, they don't give too much of those details, but they're also really like heavy into their website stuff that I haven't looked into. I bet you they probably have all that information on the website. I'll have to look into that. Their app's pretty cool. Like the app design's really cool and everything. So
do you follow them on like Instagram and stuff?
no, I should though. But
That's
then
what you gotta do.
I'm still like I'm just still getting into this like craft beer stuff. So
Well, the breweries
love
that
this
you
place.
do hit, like, definitely follow them on Instagram or Twitter or both, and because that's where you're gonna get their release information first.
Yeah, that's when I walked up there today. It said like release. I got to do it because I know they had a sign that says like releases posted on Instagram after noon or something like that. So
yeah. I mean, Instagram is a huge marketing tool for any business these days.
yeah.
And so it's all about that word of mouth. So cheers to episode 20, bro.
Yeah, cheers, man. We made it.
We made it.
I like that hat, dude.
Thanks, man.
The camo Vans, it's clean.
Yeah, it's part of my skate dad collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. I was at the skate shop the other day, and I almost built a board like yours. I was like, oh God, I saw this Powell Peralta Cruiser, and I was like, man, $50 for the deck. I was like, yeah, but then I'm another $100 down the rabbit hole once I buy trucks and wheels and all that stuff, because it was
I thought about you in skating.
Cruiser.
I thought about you in skating today because when I was walking through Great Notion, they have like their apparel section and they sell decks with their logos on the bottom. And I was like, oh man,
those would be sick to like hang on the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those would be good ones to hang on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
So your dad comment there, your dad hat made me think of I've been going a little too far with the dad jokes lately, dude. Like they're coming out left and right, like
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Like not even like it doesn't have to be like a full joke either, right? Like it can just be
Just like a
at dinner
dadism.
tonight, dude. Like yeah, like this is and my wife. She called me out. She finally called me out on it today. She was like, "Dude, you're getting a little extreme here." Like even to I'm making dinner, right? And I'm getting ready to chop an apple, and the apple has two tags on it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just looking. I'm like, "Ooh, I wonder if they charged me double." And then I look at her and she looks at me and I like turn the apple towards her to show like the two tags. And she's like, "You're getting out of control, bro." Like just like dumb little things like that, dude. I just spew them out, man. I don't know where it's coming from. It just happens.
My wife hates it too, dude. And I definitely get, my dad, I definitely get it from him. And like, and I think that's what pisses her off the most is because she's heard all of his one-liners. And then now it's like, I'm saying it. She's like, really? You know?
It's just like, they don't even have to be like jokes. Like they just be little comments that I make that are just like cheesy, right?
But here's how you know it works and the dad joke humor is working because the kids are still laughing. And then it's a wife that's just like, really?
My kids laugh at 100% of the things I say. They weren't around when I said,
they think you're hilarious.
But that's the thing is like they're coming out when the kids aren't around. Like I'm training for work right now. And every day in my class, I say something like that, and they're just like, "You're such a dad, dude." It's like, But I have fun with it. It's just funny, man. I just have fun with it.
It is. No, that's right. It's right on. It's spot on, dude.
Yeah, man. How are the kids, by the way? You're surviving this. I'm starting to call it hell, man. It's starting to become hell a little bit.
I don't know what things are going or like up there for you guys right now in Portland, but in terms of things are getting a little bit more sensitive around here in terms of COVID. So we've been getting used to going out and hitting the skate park once or twice a week and doing some outdoor activities and things like that, which they haven't closed those down, but we've tried to refrain from doing those lately because it's just putting ourselves in a riskier position when things are starting to get a little crazy again. So it's tough. It's tough to transition backwards, what feels like. You know, we've made some progress, and it's harder for the kids to really understand that, and really buy into that. So it's been a challenge at the same time. But it was nice, at least last week, we had a break from school. We didn't have to sit around and do homework because we had the Thanksgiving holiday. So that was nice.
Yeah.
We had a pretty nice little Thanksgiving, just the four of us. So it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we did the same here. We actually had two Thanksgivings. Well, not like two Thanksgivings, but two meals. But we're unique in the sense that, we have my mother-in-law lives with us, my brother-in-law and his wife live with us right now. So we're lucky that we still get to kind of do the family thing without breaking any rules or, posting freaking 40 plus people pictures like the good old Kardashians and shit like that. So
oh my god.
So we actually had a pork loin for on actual Thanksgiving because none of us except for my mother-in-law likes turkey, and then we had a turkey on Saturday. Yeah, and it's hella funny because like anytime I go, I'm not a turkey fan either. Even when it's cooked right, like I've had it where it's cooked right, but majority of the time, whoever cooks it comes out dry. That's just the reality with most people that cook a turkey because they only cook it once a year,
Right.
I've actually cooked a turkey and my wife's cooked a turkey that's come out perfect before. But usually it's something that my mother-in-law likes to do. And, you kind of have to give in a little bit when you live with the mother-in-law.
She does have more practice than you guys at it. That's one thing.
Debatable. But it's just funny. Like anytime I go somewhere for Thanksgiving and there's turkey, like my plate is like 95% sides. And then I'll have like this one tiny little piece of turkey just to like try to camouflage the fact that I'm not eating it. and sometimes I end up not even eating it, It's like I get the perfect piece. I grab the perfect piece that if I eat it, great. If I don't, it looks like there was more and I just was so full like I just left this little piece left. But in reality, it was the same piece that's always there.
Oh, I know. Well, when like growing up, like having normal Thanksgivings with enough people, I remember my family would always have a turkey and a ham, and I'd usually go after the ham more than turkey.
Yeah.
But this year, I mean, just different. Like I didn't want to cook a whole turkey for the 4 of us and
Yeah.
2 little kids, and so I ended up just getting a whole chicken, which is much smaller, and we
Yeah.
all eat chicken, so
Yeah.
we kind of pretended it was turkey, but, made it that way, and
It's a baby
it was
turkey.
way better anyway. It's easier to stay moist and do
Yeah.
all that stuff, so
Yeah, it's weird, dude, how much better turkey and how much easier, or I'm sorry, better chicken and how much easier chicken is
right.
to cook, and it's almost like the same thing. I mean, obviously it's
Same
not, but
concept, yeah.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bird, same thing, but yeah, the meat's very different. The
Yeah,
meat
no,
with
definitely
the I feel like the meat with the chicken is like they're both stringy, but like a chicken, it's like stays together more. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just weird.
it is weird.
I
It
just like
is
chicken,
really
and
weird.
I feel like you have more options with seasonings with chicken. Where
Yeah.
like turkey, I feel like you're not allowed to season it or not allowed to like you know what I mean. Like you can put like all the shit inside of
Yeah, you
it and
can
all
brine
that.
it and do all that stuff, though.
Yeah, but do okay. So I have a question, and this might be just my not having a bunch of turkeys, but I've had turkeys where like it's been cooked with it full of stuffing or onions, whatever, and I've had a
Yeah.
turkey with nothing in it, and I can never taste the difference.
Yeah,
Like I
no, me
feel
neither.
like it does not affect the meat whatsoever. And it could just be the turkeys I'm eating or cooked poorly, but I mean I've had turkeys cooked by people that have been cooking them for decades. So
Well, you have to have an ingredient that you're stuffing it with that's gonna draw more moisture through the meat.
yeah.
And so usually what I do, like what I did with this chicken, for instance, is like I actually cut up like 2 lemons and like stuffed a bunch of lemon wedges inside,
Mhm.
with some onions and some rosemary. And so
Okay.
the onions and the lemons are drawing tons of moisture through the meat as it's cooking, you
See,
know?
you're kind of answering a theory that I had, but I feel like if I say it, it still might sound stupid. But that's why I always thought, not always, but as I've gotten older and gotten better into cooking, like if you put stuffing into a turkey, doesn't that do exactly what you don't want it to do? Like it
Yeah.
it absorbs the moisture from the turkey,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, in most people who are doing Thanksgivings these days, they aren't really eating stuffing as a side dish that was the actual stuffing that was shoved up the bird. They're
Yeah.
usually making a dish and calling it stuffing,
Yeah.
you know? And it's in sort of a modified way. But yeah, just like you said, it's like you're putting a bread product up
Yeah.
up the cavity, and that's going to absorb more moisture than it's going to give out.
Yeah. So then why
And so
is it
it's
even
counterproductive,
I don't
you know?
understand why people do it then. I don't know.
I think it was more a way to keep the stuffing itself more moist for them to eat that as a side dish when it came
Mhm.
down to it.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
because we do that where like, or I personally don't, but like, so
yeah,
before we moved up here, we used to go to my wife's aunt and uncle's house for Thanksgiving every year. Like that was like kind of the trade off, and then we just did Thanksgiving with them for whatever reason, and their turkeys were pretty good, but like they did the whole like stuff it full of stuffing, and I mean they always left it as an option for people to eat, but they always made another dish of stuffing that wasn't in the turkey, and majority of people gravitated towards that. I think my father-in-law would eat it out of the turkey, but I tried it. Like it's not like gross or anything. It's just I just always thought like, is that why this is always dry? Because the stuffing is just sucking the moisture out of the bird. And I think that in most cases, unless there's some tip or trick that people are missing, like you said, it's like a bread product that soaks up any moisture that comes near
yeah,
it. So
yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
But, like,
in a scenario where like there's been a spill and no napkins around, I've literally grabbed bread and used bread to like
yeah,
absorb shit until we
yeah.
got paper towels or something. So I
Well,
don't know.
my moisture theory, I mean, it kinda like I learned it when I started making the beer can chicken, right? It's like you put the chicken over the beer can with a half full, and then you're getting the moisture from the beer to
Yeah.
keep the
So
the bird moist, and so it's like that's sort of I try to not replicate that, but some sort of moistening agent
yeah.
inside there that's gonna, because what I hate the most is dry meat. Like I
Oh
don't
yeah,
want
it's the
dry chicken.
worst, dude.
I don't want dry steak. I don't want dry anything. It's
Yeah.
like if it's dry, then I'm like slathering that shit in barbecue sauce
Yeah.
before it goes in my mouth. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
That's what I do.
So
Like every once in a while, I'll fucking overcook the chicken for dinner, or whatever. Like rarely, but sometimes I'll do it. It's like, well, grab the ketchup and it'll be fine. So,
Yeah.
I
would look
deal
like
with it.
my wife's like so afraid that I'm gonna like undercook meat.
Oh, and dude, my wife's the same. Dude.
And she tells me the chicken. She's like, make sure you leave mine on there a little longer. I'm like, why? Because me taking mine off and leaving yours, it's like it's not meat. It's not like you take it off like medium rare and well done. It's like there's one way to cook chicken until it's done. It's not like you like keep certain ones on to get more well done. It's like it's either done or it's like it's unsafe. It's like,
dude, my wife is like it's so funny. She's like paranoid when it comes to raw chicken, to the point where like if I have like I'll season the chicken on our counter, right?
Yeah.
And if it's within like a foot from any other food that we're gonna eat, she like freaks out. And it's like I try to nicely say like it's not like this raw chicken is sneezing on the other food. Like it's sitting there. It's not like the particles are coming up in this fucking sky and landing on the salad a foot away from it.
Ashley has the same theory. Like as if whatever we're doing, it's splattering on everything in the kitchen. And I'm just like, no.
And then the second I come back, like I'll take it out and I'll take it to the barbecue and I'll come back in. And before I even get back in the kitchen, I get did you wipe the counter off? Did you Clorox the counter? Yeah. I haven't even got back in the house yet. No, I haven't. I'm going to.
It's all part of the checklist. Just haven't got there yet.
Yeah, but it's like, and I know like chicken is more sensitive with like salmonella and stuff like that than other meats. But it's like, dude, like you come on now, like breathe. Breathe.
Gotta have the space.
I've been doing this. I've been cooking this chicken the same way for the last 15 years we've been together. Have you ever gotten sick? No.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like a switch that happens when the kids show up, I think, because they get a little more paranoid.
Oh, I know, man.
I think it's like opposite. Like the women get more paranoid about stuff like that, and the guys start caring less. Like I'll grab the freaking chicken spice with my raw chicken hand and sprinkle that shit on. I'll just wipe it off with a paper towel and put it back in the cabinet. And I know that's not like the most sanitary thing, but it's like the only time I ever touch that or it ever goes anywhere is with the chicken. Like, yeah. So,
well, I mean, I think to our defense, it's like us as guys, we're just trying to get shit done and get from point A to point B as quickly and as easily as possible.
Yeah. That's like those nights that I overcook the chicken is because I'm getting the freaking dragon eyes down the back of my neck to sterilize everything. I'm losing track of time of the freaking chicken cooking, even though the chicken never touched anything but the freaking cutting board it's on. But
so we're there trying to get things done, and they're there now with their motherly instinct of okay, we got to eliminate any other risks that can get the family sick and all this kind of stuff. And it's like to micromanage the situation. It's like you said, we've been doing this for 15 years. We got this.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like it hasn't changed. All right.
Yeah.
So
just funny.
Gnarly, dude.
Yeah, but my actual Thanksgiving dinner night kind of sucked just because my poor wife, dude, she cooked like everything while I cleaned so she cooked everything at my mother-in-law's house, which is we have an in-law unit on our land, and because our kitchen couldn't handle that. Like my mother-in-law's place has a kitchen. It's a small kitchen, but it's an actual size oven where we have like this little ninja tabletop oven that you can cook heat up sandwiches and tater tots and stuff in, but you're not cooking turkeys in it or anything. So she cooked everything over there, and you know how it is, like cooking in a kitchen that's not yours. You don't know where things are, so like the entire time she's asking where things are, and I felt so bad for her. But she took I even forget what it was, but she had something she was cooking that was in a skillet that was in the oven. She took it out, put it on the stovetop, and like shuffled some things around, and then went back and grabbed the handle and burnt the shit out of her hand, dude. Like, like 2nd-degree burns, little blisters and everything. Like it was pretty gnarly. And then as we're transferring things over to the main house to eat, Nate slams his freaking middle finger in the door. So then his finger is all black and blue. And it's just kind of my wife didn't even eat. She was like in so much pain. She just lost her appetite. Like she cooked for like 3.5, 4 hours and didn't even eat anything. So it was rough. Yeah, it was just a rough night. But the food came out good. Like everything she cooked came out absolutely amazing. But
you're sitting there like, well, it's really good, honey.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
you
like one of
can't
those
join
things.
us.
Like I told her the
Really
next day,
good.
I just kind of like kept my mouth shut, but inside my head, I'm like, damn, this mashed potatoes and
Yeah,
pork loin is bomb right now. But to her, I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's all right. How you
yeah.
feeling? You doing okay? So
Yeah, I'm not that hungry either, honey. I'm just gonna have a
yeah,
taste.
yeah. So, but Saturday was a little bit better. She was able to, we kept an eye on her and made sure she wasn't grabbing hot things. So,
Nice, dude.
but
Nice, dude.
it
Get her,
was
give her some
still
oven mittens for Christmas as a joke.
no,
You know?
she'd get pissed. Dude, it's still like her fingertips on a couple of her fingers are still kind of numb. But
Did
if
she
she
burn
grabbed
her
it bad, dude,
fingerprints off? She burned her fingerprints
on
off.
her thumb,
Now's a good time to do a robbery or
I know. I
something.
told her, I was like, I tried to the next day when things settled down, she was showing me like her fingers. I was like, it's like, now's the time to go rob a bank. You want to go?
Yeah,
I'll drop you off. I'll drive. I'll
exactly.
drive. And she's just like, my wife's reaction when those things is just, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
But in a good way. Like, it's just, we have that kind of sinister, comedic relationship.
Oh, exactly.
So, but it was good. It was just good to have the break. So
I got a question for you. It's burning, dude. So I've been playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater a lot lately with the boys. They've been checking it out and discovering it. And I forgot that one of my favorite skate parks in the whole game is the Burnside Skate Park in Portland.
yeah.
Have you guys ever been by there or checked it out? Or
I've driven by it, but we haven't checked it out.
It's like one of the more famous skate parks in the country, and like it's one that ever since I was a kid I've always dreamed about going. So whenever I visit you, dude, we're gonna have to go there.
Yeah.
And it just looks so badass, and it's perfect for Portland the way it's built underneath the Burnside Bridge and stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't, they can, as much rain as Portland gets, it's like you can still skate on most days and whatnot. And I don't know, it just looks so badass because it was one of those, like, the story behind it is like it's a skate park that was built by skaters, like unofficially, like it was not permitted, it was not sanctioned at all. Like skaters just showed up, found a cool spot that nobody was using, started bringing more and more concrete, and it became this park. And then finally the city adopted it and sanctioned it. Now it's a city park. That was like many years ago, but it's just such a cool park, man. So many cool things in the skateboard world have transpired there over the years, and Thrasher magazine and stuff like that. So it's
it's deceiving in like pictures and stuff. So I drove by it. It's awesome, but it's not like massive. It's actually kind of, I mean, it's under a bridge, so it's kind of small, but it's there's always people there. I drive by it here and there because sometimes I'll take a route to work that I have to drive by it. So.
Well, when we worked in San Bruno, I kept pitching the idea. I was like, you remember that spot by Huntington under 380?
Yeah.
Across from, like, I was like, there was like a parking lot under there. I was like, let's make this a freaking skate park. And no, like, San Bruno doesn't have one. Like, this is your perfect spot.
It's so funny, like how, it ties into politics really nowadays, and how like stupid politicians are and stuff because of the age demographic difference, where it's like people think, like older people think, oh, skateboarders punks.
Yeah.
But the reality is skateboarders, give them something to do so they're not punks.
Right.
It's like
the punks into one area.
Yeah, and it makes it the exact opposite. Then you don't have a bunch of skateboard punks damaging city property because you've given them a place to do what they want to do, and it's not like what they're doing is causing any kind of issues or it's not any kind of criminal activity or anything.
Well, the thing is you don't want them skating in front of your business on your staircase or on your plaza or on your ledges or anything like that. So give them a place to skate.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two,
it was the same. It was the same when I was into stunt riding. We had a few parking lots that were secluded, and we practiced there all day. And every once in a while, we get a noise complaint, just someone being a hater. It wasn't bothering them, just someone being a hater. The cops would come out, and they even knew. Like, the reality is, do you want us here in this parking lot going 10 to 25 miles an hour doing our tricks and stuff, or do you want us busting wheelies down in Barcadero?
Yeah,
because we're gonna do that.
Or the Great Highway.
Yeah, because we're gonna do that. I mean, we still did it, but not as often. But we're gonna do it on the street if we can't do it here. So
that's exactly
It's completely harmless. It's giving a lot of times, majority of the time, skateboarders or extreme sport people are problem children in the sense of, have shitty lives, have shitty environments and stuff, and it's their escape. So you're actually doing them a favor and doing the city a favor by letting them have that escape from the reality of the shitty life that they're probably realistically living, or
Well, but
environment
nowadays,
that they're living in.
but skate parks provide so much positivity, and what I mean by that is like it's called a skate park, but there's BMX there. There's
Yeah.
scootering there. There's now there's with the COVID, I've seen more roller skates there. I'm talking like old school,
Yeah.
like
I've been
roller
seeing
skates
videos
than
of that stuff.
inline skates. And it's sick. It's awesome to see all these different people come out
Yeah.
from different walks of life and different, especially like, we're in our mid 30s, but like skateboarding really started like 15 years before we were born. And so you even get some of the older
Mhm.
guys who are like in their mid 40s when, and they're coming out and it's just like, it's almost like a park for all ages. And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm meeting people that I normally wouldn't meet, and everyone's just so down to earth and great people. And, you might not have pegged this person to be this type of person if you just pass him on the street. But when you talk to him at the skate park, it's a good dude. It's
Yeah.
cool. He's just hanging out, doing his thing,
Yeah.
and everyone's got their own style or about him. Maybe it's for the guy who wasn't into team sports or whatnot, but this
Exactly.
is his outlet. This is his way to get physical activity. And I think it helps you in so many things you do down the line from a physical standpoint. It gives
Mhm.
you stamina, it gives you strength, it gives you balance, it gives you, your equilibrium gets right on track all the time. It's like it's crazy, man. It's crazy what it can do for you and the way it brings people together because like I go there with my young kids. My kids are 5 and 8
Mhm.
and it's like my kids have gone to the skate park so much and they have interacted with so many different people of so many different ages
Yeah.
that they are not shy now to go up and talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Like
No,
like
it's super good for social
like my 5-year-old, dude,
contact.
I have to almost get on him. I'm like, "Come on, man. Let's start scootering." Let's, because he's like talking to people too much. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, leave him alone. They want to skate, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, "Oh, can you do a backflip?" "Oh, you can't do, I can do a backflip." It's just like, you're like, "Zach, leave him alone, dude."
Oh,
But it's
dude.
just like that, just like you're just not afraid to go up to anybody. It's like, and every time they meet somebody, it's like, they leave and it's like, "Oh, I got a couple new friends today,"
Yeah.
and it's like, "Oh, that's cool, man. Right
Yeah.
on."
No,
So it's like it brings people together too.
it really does. But in time, we'll
Yeah.
see more creativity, things like that as this generation, I think more so like our generation gets into offices and things.
Yeah.
We'll see more
It'll start to
exciting and
swing.
fun environments like that are outside of the norm. I mean, skateboarding is
Well,
at the point now, like it is the norm. It's been around for decades. Um, but there's more things that are starting to come out like that need that.
something big that happened here in Pacifica, I'm not sure if you've heard, but I think a few weeks ago it passed on the city council. They're officially building an official bike park here in Pacifica.
Like a BMX bike park?
Like
Or
with jumps, like a jump park.
really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because now
You
did
never
they ever, because the skate park used to be like BMX bikes were prohibited. Did they ever?
they're still prohibited there, but, like, there's enough BMXers that come. It's like, if the cop shows up, like, they have to leave, but then they come back,
Okay, yeah, they
but
don't really enforce it.
the cop doesn't really show up very often at all. Or
Yeah.
or it's like, or you get a couple skaters who are just, complete D-bags that'll end up calling the cops on
Oh
BMX people, and it's like,
wow.
"What are you doing, dude?" Like,
Yeah.
there's enough room here that they can
But
go to
not only
that
that, it
bowl,
doesn't.
you can
It's
go
not
to
like they do any damage or anything.
no, no.
They do no
Usually
more
the
damage than.
BMX guys that go there, like, there's a couple dudes that, like, can do flips and stuff, and they're way better than the skaters that are there, and it's like, "No, no, no, you give them the right of way," you
Yeah.
know? Like
Yeah.
like, they're ripping this place up, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
That's
but the
awesome though.
bike
Is it
parks,
going to be a dirt? Is it going to be a dirt?
it's gonna be dirt,
Okay, cool.
and
That's cool.
it's gonna be at Lower Frontier Land.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's a
so
good spot because you can get a little you
yeah.
can get a little loud there.
Well, yeah, and they can utilize some of the hillside maybe for some drop-ins,
Yeah, that's gonna
from
be
the top,
cool.
and you got the bathroom there, from the old days, but, 'cause they
Mm,
had the one, near the bike shop in the back of the valley, kind
mhm.
of it was just kinda like makeshift bike
Yeah,
park that they built some jumps.
yeah,
So a lot of the same people who have been around, building those jumps over the years have really been the ones driving this bike park, and so I think hopefully it'll be a heavy partnership with the city at least to use the city's resources for equipment to move the dirt and, do some things like that.
mhm.
And if we get some regular maintenance out there, it'll be pretty cool little park, you
Yeah,
know? So,
yeah, that's awesome. No, I didn't hear about that, but it's awesome to hear.
yeah, yeah,
Because
no,
I
that's a
used to hit those jumps, behind the church to the right or to the left of the church there. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
those are
yeah.
good ones. Those are nice ones. So,
Yeah, we've been taking the kids down there every once in a while too, and I've hit them a few times with the mountain bike, but I mean, definitely not what I used to do. But
yeah,
and Ryan hits them pretty good. Ryan gets up, he tries. You know,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good. That and Pacifica needs that type of stuff, man. Pacifica is so bad with like the entertainment things to do. And it's such a unique little city in its location where to
yeah.
get to anywhere else, it's not terrible, but you gotta drive over a hill both ways, really. So
Well, the thing that I'm stoked about the location of the bike park is it's like where the skate park is, it's on Highway 1, and
mhm.
so you're gonna get more traffic at that skate park, and I'm hoping that because the bike park is so off the beaten path and sort of tucked into the back of the valley that unless you're looking for a bike park and you're researching it on the internet, like, hopefully it's more of a locals driven park because it's so secluded back there in the valley, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
So, I
absolutely.
mean, I know we'll get it the outsiders, but the majority, I'm sure, will be, you know, Pacificers.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. So what else is new up in your hood, man? What's going down? Got anything burning on your mind?
I mean, really, the only thing that has been kind of wild the past few weeks is, we've gotten some new consoles. The console wars are alive again with the PS5 or the PlayStation 5, and I laugh every time I have to say this out loud. The Xbox Series X. I didn't laugh because PlayStation. You had the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, the
Yeah.
PlayStation 4, and now, surprise, surprise, the PlayStation 5. For the Xbox, you had the Xbox, then you had the Xbox 360, then you had the Xbox One, then you had the
Yeah.
Xbox One X, which was like the mid the midlife kind of jump up, and then
Right.
now the next generation is the Xbox Series X. Like they're naming, they got to work on their
Yeah, their naming
whoever's in
sucks.
charge of naming's an idiot, to
Whoever's
be
in charge
honest.
of their marketing is like, I
Yeah.
don't know what they're thinking.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, the Xbox One made sense. It was stupid because if you think about it, it's like, no, you're the third generation, you're Xbox 3. But the
Right.
mindset behind it when the Xbox One came out was they were really into like one media center, right? Like you could hook up your cable to it, so like you could go like you could do TV, you could do
Right.
your movies, you could access the internet, and you could play games. So it was designed to be more than just a gaming console, and that's why it tanked so bad is because it took away from the gaming aspect a little bit, and that's where PlayStation really took a hold of the console wars. I mean, the PlayStation 4 sold, I think, something like triple, if not more, than the Xbox One. But the new
But that's
consoles came
because a lot
out.
of people are still using their Xbox 360s,
Yeah, yeah,
and they didn't change because
yeah,
Xbox is still better. We all know that.
yeah.
Just
I mean, it's weird, right? Like, I feel like they both have their pros and cons. Like for me,
Ford and
Xbox
Chevy.
is, huh?
Said Ford and Chevy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that. Like it's like Xbox. I feel like has always had the better system for like friends and sharing content and things like that. Um, and then, but PlayStation has always had a hold on the exclusive games, like these games that are really good, but you can only play them on PlayStation. I mean,
Yeah.
everything has that. Xbox has exclusive games like that too, but they're nowhere near the quality of like the Spider-Man game, or there's like Horizon Zero Dawn is a good one that is on PlayStation. The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2 are just phenomenal games. Like these are like AAA games that you can only play if you have a PlayStation. Xbox has Halo, and that's really all that matters. And there's some other ones, but they're not worth even mentioning. But
Right.
anyways, they came out in November, and then on top of that, we have our new generation of graphics cards. Nvidia's released the 3000 series, which
I'm
is
looking into, by the way.
yeah. So you should really be looking into. They just dropped yesterday the 3060 Ti, which is basically the equivalent of the 2070 Super, which is just a slight difference from I have the 2080 Ti, which is the top tier of the 20 series. Okay. The 3060 and my card, the 2080 Ti was a $1,200 graphics card. The 3060 Ti is like just barely losing to the 2080 Ti, and it's a $400 card. Like the price difference is insane.
Yeah.
For like, and that's the thing is like this year the 3090 is the big dog, is the one that they're comparing to the 2080 Ti, and it's like twice as fast. It's amazing, and it's I'm sorry, the 3080 is beating the 2080 Ti, and it is, I believe it's $800, and it's like twice as fast as the 2080 Ti. Then they had the 3090, which is the equivalent to. They released these cards. They're the Titan cards, which they're like the top tier. They're the cards that no one needs them. It's really for the guys that just want to say I have the best of the best. The Titan card last year, the two, yeah, most of the time, yeah. I didn't buy a Titan card this time because the 20 series Titan card was $2,200, and that's just ridiculous. The 3090 is blowing that card out of the water, and it's $1,200. I believe $1,200. Maybe it's $1,300. But it's like this has been the biggest leap in versions in quite some time. Like from the leap from the 20 series to the 2000 series to the 3000 series has been massive. But the big story here on all of this is no matter if you're looking at a graphics card upgrade and you're looking at the 3060 Ti, the 3070, the 3080, or the 3090, or you're looking for a PS5, or you're looking for an Xbox Series X, you can't get them.
Yeah.
They're sold out everywhere. All these things launched. They were all sold out within minutes. And their restocking has been horrendous because of COVID. Everything's slowed down because of COVID. It's just been the worst launch in technology like history. And every time, like even yesterday, and this is factual information. Yesterday, the 3060 Ti dropped at, I don't remember the exact time, but for example, let's say it dropped at noon, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you logged in at 11:59 and you hit refresh on Best Buy, Newegg, fucking wherever, 11:59 it would say coming soon. 12 and 5 or 6 seconds sold out.
Wow.
They all sold out at the most 6 seconds.
But it's also, I feel like gaming has also grown pretty drastically over the COVID sort of pandemic because people are look what we're doing. Like we
game every night.
We're calling it a podcast, but we're basically doing a virtual hangout every once in a while.
Yeah.
And we're using the same equipment that people would buy for computer gaming, and I myself, because I got into podcasting, have inadvertently got into gaming because I have all the equipment to do so now. And so I mean, take me as a small example of an average person who was never into this shit before, who's now fully sucked in.
Yeah. But that's the thing is the gaming industry knows this because they see the numbers of purchases and games and things like that. They knew what to expect. And it's what's called a paper launch. All these things are paper launches. Here's the day we're launching on paper. the physical stuff is now people are getting them. They've sold millions of all this stuff, but they needed tens of millions of it. Newegg dropped a tweet or something saying that they had like their traffic was in like the tens of millions yesterday for I think I might be a little wrong on that number, but yesterday for the 3060 Ti launch, and that they said that was like 10 times the amount of inventory they had.
Crazy, dude.
Like, but the thing about it is, it looks really, really bad for the companies because this is what happens. They want one thing, they don't get it, they go for something else. AMD has dropped their new line of graphics cards. Same thing, everything's sold out in seconds, but the people that originally wanted that 3070, 3080 couldn't get it. And now they're hearing, well, AMD is dropping their graphics card. And for the first time in ever, the top tier graphics cards, AMD is competing with Nvidia. That's crazy on its own. That's something that's never happened. Nvidia has been dominating the graphics card industry for gamers for decades.
Dude, that's
AMD
crazy.
is finally caught up. And you know what? All those people that didn't get one of those Nvidia cards, well, let me try to get one of these cards. Now, of course, 99% of them didn't get that either, but that 1% got their AMD card, you know?
Yep. Probably flaunting their shit. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and the cards are they're good. Like I've been sitting here because I waited. I'm gonna upgrade to the 3090. I built this computer in preparation to update for that card, but I'm also, and I had the money to do it, but I'm big into cryptocurrency, and right now we're in a scenario with cryptocurrency that it's looking very likely to explode. So because I was kind of waiting already, like I tried to get one of the cards on the launch day, but I didn't put that much effort into it, and I didn't get one. So I was like, well, I'll just wait because I water cool, and for me, a large portion of water cooling is definitely the capability of being able to overclock and make your get the most out of the components. But equally as important to me is the aesthetics and the look. And I really like this one company that makes water blocks, and they haven't released their water blocks for the new cards yet. So I wasn't in a major hurry to get this card just to leave it in my closet for 4 months, you know?
Yeah.
And now with this cryptocurrency, I actually took that money that I had stored away for a water block and the card, and I dumped it all into Ripple. Because my computer is doing, and you also, like, a lot of people don't think the way I do. You have to think big picture.
More things in most people's computers. I mean, let's face it.
Well, not only that, but it's like you have to think big picture too, right? My monitor that I game on maxes out at 120 frames per second. My graphics card I have right now runs games at 160 frames per second. Why do I need to upgrade to something that's not going to benefit me in any way? When I upgrade to the new card, I'm going to probably have to upgrade my monitor on top of everything. So for me, I'm like, and the human eye, the normal human eye, can only see 30 to 60 frames per second. Now, the argument with that is that argument, which is true, is meaning if I flashed 60 pictures to you right now, and they're all different, the human eye.
Choose a different word. I don't want you flashing anything at me, bro.
Touche. But if 60 images were flashed in front of your eyes right now, you should be able to almost tell the differences between them all, right? The sales pitch, which is true on monitors and things that are over that, is more so the smoothness. The eye can't. Now you can't. The human eye, outside of like, I think it's astronauts. I think it's like astronauts and like fighter pilots can see like over 200 frames a second. Like there's been studies on that, but the average human eye, yeah, exactly. It has a lot to do with training. The average eye, you can only see up to 60 frames per second, but you can see the difference in smoothness when gaming in motion between 60 and 140, or now they're getting up to like 200 and something, right? So there is still a good reason to try to get the highest frame rate as possible, because, and especially in gaming, where if it's a first person shooter, someone comes out behind a wall, right? At 60 frames per second, it's staggered, right? So if you're playing at 30 frames and you're playing someone at 120 frames, what you see, if you're looking at the edge of a wall and someone comes out from behind that wall, you don't see it until over half their body's out of the wall. Where the person that's at 100 has like 120 plus, they see it the second even a piece of that person comes out behind that wall. So they have the upper hand. They see you before you see them. So you're not seeing the exact frame.
I've been victim to some of that.
Yeah, because the graphics card you have is not up to par yet, and that's because your build we built on a budget, but you have that upgrade capability. And that's the nice thing about
every time I log in, every time I click play to like log into it, like I get the notice that says, "Would you like to upgrade your graphics card because it will drastically help your performance?" Yada yada yada. And I always hit no, and then I start playing because I'm not gonna do that right now. But
we're getting close to that time where you have the build, and that's why I love, and I try to explain to my knucklehead friends that are hardcore console players. That's what I love about PC gaming is I can technically, I don't because I'm an enthusiast. I like to build a new computer every year, but I could technically take this computer that I have right now, and it'll outlast the entire new generation of consoles that just came out.
Oh yeah. We don't have to buy a new consoles.
I need to buy a new part.
Upgrade. Yeah.
Okay, so then the PlayStation 6 comes out.
It's the same console, but
sometimes but it's also like the reality of what else you can do. Like a console, you're using it strictly to game. What I can do, I can game, I can edit, I can do a podcast with you, I can watch movies, I can do
exactly. I do everything on my
connect
computer.
with the world.
Right.
And I mean, you can watch movies and stuff on the consoles, but it's just different. I can't, and there's nothing against console players whatsoever.
No, but like I kind of feel like a console's in my future more for the kids.
Yeah.
Like to set them up in a game room with a TV eventually, so they don't have to come on my computer to play all the time, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And just, it's easy to just, okay, we're going to centralize our gaming right here for you in this console that you can't screw up versus I don't want you crashing my computer just because you want to play,
Yeah. I got off track there, but basically the reality is it's been really rough for anyone that's been waiting for these new cards to upgrade. And the biggest thing on it is this year more than ever, scalping has been really bad. It's been really bad. And I really have nowhere to come from because I'll be honest. I was able at the Xbox launch, I was able to get 3 Xboxes and I did sell 2 of them. I uppriced them because I don't have a purpose for one right now. Right. I sold them for a higher price, but I didn't do that. I mean, that was my intent, but I regret it now knowing how bad it's been. If I knew it was going to be that bad, I would have never done it. The third one I sold to my brother-in-law for cost, just because he's the type that he really benefited from that. So,
well, but scalping is everywhere. I mean, like just in the skateboard industry alone, like Powell Peralta, for instance, will re-release some of the Bones Brigade's skateboards. And what I mean by Bones Brigades, I'm talking like Tony Hawk and Steve Caballero when they're teenagers. They were the Bones Brigade, and they call a reissue, but they only make a limited quantity. And there's a following of people just like there are in gaming who are waiting at their computers to order these things on the day that they're released. And then the next day you see them on eBay because they sell them for $75 and then they're on eBay for $250,
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere. It just depends on the industry. It all varies.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And that's like, I mean, my original intent was from past experiences where the initial day launch, everything sells out quick. And there's those knuckleheads that will pay whatever for one of those consoles. And then like 2 weeks later, everything's restocked and everyone gets it, That's where my mindset was. I didn't realize at the time I did it that this is going to be something that was going to last literally, and it's going to continue to last and probably well into the beginning of next year before they really get the inventory they need. If I knew it was going to be like this, I would have just tried to get the one for my brother-in-law and been done with it. But, oh well, sorry, I'm the bad guy. But the reality is, the main scalpers, there are people that have literally but there's the main issue here is there are scalpers that have used bots and have bought thousands of these consoles and then are turning them around. Both of them are $500. They're turning around and selling them on eBay for $1,000. That's where the issue is not.
If they didn't want scalping, they wouldn't let you buy 3.
Yeah.
Period.
Well,
They
and
just
that's the
one per
thing is
ticket,
like
you know?
I bought one straight from Microsoft and 2 from Amazon. And it's like the reality is it should be I disagree with the 1 per household rule. I don't think that's fair. But
No.
it should be like 1 per credit card. Because the reality is I live in a household where I could want one. I could want one for my two my older kids.
Or what if you lived with roommates?
Yeah, exactly. And my brother-in-law, like we all live in the same house. You're telling me that we can only buy 1 for this house? That's fucked up. I don't even I see my brother-in-law once a week, if that. You know, even though he lives here, he lives on a different floor and everything. So, but I think they could have done. Oh, it's amazing that I don't have to see him every day. Love you, Jeff. So, but I feel like, yeah, if they could have done it differently to prevent that at a larger scale. So on a larger scale, but for whatever reason, they're just like, hey, buy what you want. But it also has a lot to do with they're just out to make their money, like all companies are, and it's more so nowadays. It's like they don't. A lot of these companies, they don't give a shit about the consumer. And to be honest, I'll rant for a quick second here on the game that we play a lot, which is Warzone. Call of Duty has made so much money off Warzone. There's been a broken gun in this game that will literally one-shot you for 3 months. It has been broken for 3 months. Now there's a glitch that's just come out where there's a train that goes around the map, and there's a certain I can't think of what it's called, but it's an activity that you can pick up. The words contract. It's called a oh my god, dude, why am I being dumb with this? It's the one with the flag.
Penalty, most wanted.
The one with the flag.
I forget what that is.
It's a flag. I can't think of the name of it right now. But you pick up the flag,
Secure position or something like that.
It brings you to a location. You sit on that location for 30 seconds, and it drops some loot. But what it does is it shows you where the next circle is going to be. Well, there's a glitch now where that activity or whatever contract is on the train. But here's the catch: you pick it up off the train, it ends on the train, and then it resets on the train. So you can sit on the train and do it 7 times and literally find out where every single circle is going to go to the last circle. It's like, wow. How long is this going to be like this? If this broken gun that has literally ruined the game for thousands has been in here for 3 months, how long is this broken ass thing going to happen? It's like they don't care.
How many times I got to click play and I have to sit through an update, and then that's still not fixed.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, these things are very simple updates. You know who used to do it the best? And I've become a big Destiny hater in the years because of their lack of content. I don't play the game anymore. But Destiny and Bungie are one of the best in this scenario where, you know what? Oh, this gun's broken. You know what they would do? They'd fucking remove the gun until they figured it out.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, it's unfortunate you don't get to use this gun you worked a little bit to get.
Yeah,
but it's not breaking the game.
You know.
Yeah. And it's like they just don't care to put the effort into these certain things because, you know what? Is it going to really stop you from playing the game? I get killed with this gun at least twice a night. Has it stopped me from playing every night? No. It just makes me yell at my computer for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like that with a lot of things. So, and that's what happened here is, they made X amount of consoles. They knew it wasn't enough. Did they decide to delay the launch until they had more inventory to please their fan base? No, they said, fuck it, let's make our money, and dropped it. And now it's going to go down in history as one of the biggest, what's called paper launches of all times. Again, paper launch is just saying like, hey, on paper, this has been launched, but you can't get one. It's not a physical launch. It's just on paper. We're claiming that this is a new item that we've released. But you can't get it, so it's on paper. It's not real.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's it. Just that's the gaming industry, man. It's drama filled.
Nutshell.
Yeah. So I will give the respect and credit and the understanding that the gaming industry has really grown like 200 times over the last few years. And I'm sure a lot of these companies do struggle with keeping up with the interest and the times and all that.
Sure, just their servers alone are just struggling to keep up, you know? I mean,
but the reality is it's like Where
Well, I mean,
is all the income going? It should be turned right around into more servers or more production, but they have a tendency, and it's been like this since day one with the gaming industry, that they have a tendency of nickel and diming, and that's what's happening here, just on a grander scale because of COVID.
oh
The
my, I mean, money
combination
talks,
of
dude. It usually drives everything, and
yeah,
it's like people when you start seeing the money add up, people don't want to see that stop,
yeah,
and when you have to put it back into the product, well, you're taking it out of my pocket,
yeah,
and so there's a certain degree that the more you put back into the product, the more you're going to put back into your pocket. And there's a lot of people that don't really realize that at the beginning.
yeah,
And their products end up suffering because of it. And sometimes they could even die, but I mean, that's just the lesson that they got to learn
yeah.
in terms of doing business. But hopefully it
We're,
doesn't come to that.
Yeah. And it does have a lot to do with COVID. COVID has affected this scenario in two ways that are completely opposite of each other. One, it's slowed manufacturing. Two, it's quadrupled, probably well more than that, the interest in gaming because everyone's stuck at home. So you have
Well, I
a
mean, but
new wave of
I see COVID affecting this to a degree. I mean, at the same time, dude, it's like, yeah, I bought a computer that you helped me build, but that was it. When it came to me gaming, everything that I purchased for gaming, I downloaded. So it's
yeah,
like when you have a digital platform like that for most, and you can fix it remotely, you can work on it remotely, you can send updates remotely, you can do all those
sure.
things. There shouldn't be delays in production, to that degree. Because you tell me that the work that I'm in that I can do at home that somebody who works for Activision or one of these companies, like, they can't do their work from home. It's all
Yeah.
computer based. It's like, come on, like we can do this. Like COVID's not slowing that down. It's like unless we're
Yeah, you're talking
manufacturing the
yeah, that's all.
hardware,
Yeah.
like that, I understand the slowdown there. But when it comes to fixing glitches and repairing like
Yeah.
systems and games that are already out there on your platform, there shouldn't be delays for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
You know?
in the glitch side, absolutely. On the hardware side, where when in the sense of us talking about like the new consoles, the new graphics cards coming out, that's
Yeah,
where
that's
I
a
get
production
the
issue, which I could
yeah.
totally understand,
But
Same
yeah, and
reason why you wanna order the Peloton today, it's gonna take you 10 weeks. That's because there's production slowdown because
yeah,
we all have to adhere to COVID protocols,
yeah.
So
So
that's understandable versus, the other alternatives.
there's something happening in the next few days here that I want us to come back to because I think my gut is telling me that this is going to be the big FU to the gaming community. A game is coming out called Cyberpunk 2020. It's going to be, I jokingly say it's going to be pushed back come December 10th because
Why does it have the year in it, 2020? Is it supposed to be like a play off this, like, dumb,
so
stupid ass freaking year that we've all been
no,
experiencing
no,
or
no,
what?
no. It's because it's a sequel to another game. So there's the
Uh
original Cyberpunk, and then this is now Cyberpunk in the year 20.
'Cause I would think that if I'm making a game
Wait,
and
did I
I
say
wanna
what did I say? 2077.
you said 2020.
Oh my gosh, it's 2077. Sorry.
Okay,
Um,
because I was gonna say if we're gonna have 2020 in the title of anything, especially a game, it
yeah,
should be to make fun of how, like,
yeah. No,
terrible.
I'm sorry. I got stuck on the 2020. It's Cyberpunk 2077. So here's the thing with Cyberpunk. It's become kind of an internet meme. It's been one of the most anticipated games since its first trailer released 8 years ago. Okay. This game has been in production for 8 years. It's a single player game. It was originally supposed to be released in, I believe it was April of this year.
What's
Then it
this
got, huh?
like, what took 8 years?
Apparently it is just the most detailed, technologically advanced game to date.
But you
So,
don't release it but you hang on, but you don't release, like, a trailer
so the
hang
original
out
trailer,
for 8
yeah,
years. It's
the
like
original
something
trailer was like a teaser trailer just to show the quality of game that they're trying to make, and then they started making the game. So the game's
like,
been
who's
made.
making the game? Grandma's Boy 8 years ago and, they're still figuring it out? Like,
Yeah.
who makes a game that long, you
I
know?
it's well that's the thing. Like it's the buildup has gone overboard to the point where I don't think it will live up to the hype just because it's been hyped up for too long.
It sounds like a
But
Dr. Dre album that's been in production for so
very
long.
much, very much, dude. But here's the thing. It was hyped up for almost 7 years and it was supposed to release in April. Then they decided they weren't ready. They pushed it back to, I think it was October, and they pushed it back to November. And then now they've pushed it back and they're committing to December 10th. So here's the thing.
If it flops, it's gonna be
They've,
terrible.
yeah, well, it's not. I mean, people have been able to play it, like the game reviewers and stuff, and they've been able to give their feedback on it, and everyone's saying it's fantastic and all this. But you never know until the actual release. A lot of people said Godfall was going to be a great game, and that game's fucking disintegrating. It was a new console release game, and I mean it disappeared. So, but here's the thing that what I'm banking on. The reason they've been pushing it back is because they want this game to be perfect at launch. It's a common thing that's happened over these years where games are launched and they're not even finished. They're broken, they have these issues, and they work on patches throughout, but at the start the game sucks and then they build on it. No Man's Sky was one that was notorious, had a huge hype. They launched without a bunch of the features, and then now it's become one of the greatest games there is. But it got hit so hard with the bad reviews at launch, it will never get the hype that it should have right now. It's actually a absolutely amazing game, but it took them over a year to get there. The creators of Cyberpunk didn't want that. They want to release this at as perfect as possible, so they've been pushing it back. And like I said, I don't think it'll live up to the hype just because it's been overhyped. This is something that commonly happens in games, and that's why like a lot of games they don't get the credit deserved because they took too long to release it. But what I think this will show is, I think the credit it will get is it will come out a perfectly playable game with minimal to, you always get those glitches where, in a game you kill someone and they get stuck in a door and they start flinging all over the place. Like those are things like, this is the reality. You can have 1,000 people test a game. Those 1,000 people aren't going to find every little glitch when it's released and millions of people start playing it. Yeah, and when it's released and millions of people start playing these games, those little things come out and they get fixed. But I think what this is going to show is the value of saying, hey, you know what? We said we were going to release this game or this item at this time. It's not quite ready. We're going to push it back. And then when it comes out and it comes out perfect or, absolutely dialed in 100%, the difference in those few people you may lose for it not coming out on time, which is absurd to me, will out the reviews and the recognition the game gets for the amazing quality and how polished it was at that launch will heavily outweigh, and people will quickly forget that the game was even pushed back. Yeah. And I think that, and I'm thinking that this game, because of the hype behind it and because of how much they've put into making sure this game is going to be absolutely perfect at launch, will hopefully show that it's okay to do that. That if you don't hit that deadline and you have to push back, like, yeah, you're going to get that little bit of backlash that everyone says that, when you have to announce it, but it'll pay off in the long run.
Yeah, I hope you put out a tweet like I hope this is the Dr. Dre of gaming because it's taking so long. And
you should do it.
Expecting something great,
Yeah. It's a game I've been waiting for, but I've been playing games for so long, dude, and I've had that excitement and that disappointment to where I'm more excited.
You played Godfall recently, and so you didn't like that one, huh? It was didn't live up to the hype or what?
I liked it. The thing that I don't like is it was a game that was designed for new consoles and new graphics cards. So it actually puts my top tier last generation graphics card to work to the point where when I try to stream it, I have to stream the game on low settings and it just looks like shit. And it's also like the story is the most basic story there is. It just the combat I kind of like, but the story is very bland and like
you know me, dude. I'm not a huge gamer. I mean, to be honest, like 99% of the games I've been playing is Warzone essentially.
Yeah.
Or Modern Warfare. And after playing something like that, it's like playing a game that's a campaign-driven game that I've got to like read this and go check that box and do that, and I'm playing against the computer. None of that sounds interesting to me after playing this,
Yeah,
you know?
that's very
That's really
common.
kind of where I'm at. It's like I like after playing even the multiplayer with so many other people, and then
Yeah,
the Warzone aspect with other people, and then teaming up with friends like you and other people. It's like, I mean, that's where I want to play.
yeah,
That's where I want to continue to play. That's what's bringing me back each night. Like
yeah. But
I'm
see,
not looking for something else, you
you're
know?
also one that you were born into multiplayer, you know, where I've been playing video games since the original Nintendo
Well,
where
it goes back, like, my college days, like, early 2000s, and whatnot, and, like,
yeah,
having roommates, like, obviously, like, I roommated with people who had the original Xbox 360, and were into Halo and all that stuff, and so I've seen it, I've been around it, but it was never me driving it, and like, or I'd play and be terrible, and then get discouraged and not want to play, or I'd be like the taco of like the group who, like, people were playing video games. I've never could amount to anything because I never had the history to build upon any sort of skill set,
yeah,
and I didn't have my own to really practice or do anything like that. So it was never in me because I never had the ability to
yeah,
like develop that, right? But I loved the concept of playing against other people from other, because like, even, like, multiplayer was around back then,
yeah,
to an extent with, like, Halo and Gears of War and some of
yeah.
those other games, which I've dabbled in, like,
Mhm.
with friends, but never on my own. And now that, like, I've got my own setup and I've got my own ability to get on, like, I play by myself whenever I want to from
Yeah,
time to time. I don't always play with you guys. I play with solos, or I play multiplayer or do whatever, and it's like that's because now I'm really interested in it personally and I
yeah,
wanna do it,
yeah.
and so I've never had that before, you
I
know?
think you should. I think the other thing is like the campaign in Call of Duty, both in Modern Warfare and actually in Cold War, they're actually both pretty decent campaigns. But you play those games to play with friends and play against other people. I think
Yeah.
I want you to watch some videos on Cyberpunk because it is a
I'll
single
check
player
it out.
game, but it's something I think that you might actually kind of like. When you have a good story game, it's just really immersive and it just makes it really fun. And the cool thing about Cyberpunk is it's one of these games where everything you do, every action you take, it's going to put you on a different path. It's going to have very very heavy what's called replayability, where it's not like if you play the game from start to finish, you can play it again and have a completely different experience if you play it differently. Like you can do the quests and stuff one way, or you can do them another way. There's also three different styles of players you can play as. So it's but the amount of detail that they put into it, like you should watch some gameplay and some other stuff on it just to check it out. But I think it's something that you might actually like because I don't know. Like I said, it might not be for you. I know I have a lot of people that they could give a shit about campaign. Fuck, our buddy Brian, he's never played the campaign in either of the Call of Duties, not even
Yeah.
once.
I played a little bit of it when I was, first getting into it because I thought that was a okay, good way to learn, and then
Yeah,
I started really learning just in the multiplayer because I
yeah,
started picking up tendencies of how other people played
yeah.
rather than just playing against a computer, so
Yeah, the thing with the Call of Duty games too, though, is like they're war games, right? So even for me, like I like them, but I never joined the military or anything like that. I don't know all that terminology. I don't know what all the beef is with Russia and all that stuff. Like the campaigns are designed in a way where it's engaging to me, but I'll never appreciate it. Like,
yeah,
yeah, like I'll never appreciate it or understand it to the depth of, maybe
right.
a someone that's military.
Yeah.
Um, but Cyberpunk is very different because it's not like that. It's just very story driven, and I think it's going to be really good.
You remember J-Dub, who we used to work with?
J Dub, where at
Old
a
guy,
oh yeah yeah yeah
bald head, goatee.
yeah
So he was like in his 60s and super into video games and just tech, and like he would always talk to me about like, "Oh, do you play these games?" Blah blah. Like, and they were the war games, like
yeah
whatever it was back then at the time. I think it was Black Ops or something.
yeah
And but he was the older guy in his 60s just getting into it, and
yeah
he was only into the campaigns.
yeah Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because he was also a Vietnam vet,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it's like it meant a little bit to him, on a different level. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. They're great campaigns. They've done really good with them. They actually, what's funny is, Black Ops 4, which was the Black Ops that came out before this one, Cold War. They actually removed the campaign and they put all their focus into the multiplayer. And then they were the first Call of Duty game that had a battle royale version. I forget. I think it was called Blackout. It was okay, but they, instead of a campaign, they focused on that, and they got a lot of backlash for it, because it's funny how people like it has a lot to do with just what you're
because the
used
minute you
to,
change
you know.
something,
Yeah.
there's gonna be people
And
who
it's
don't.
like and it's not the fact that they added this major amazing game mode, it's the fact that they took something away,
Yeah,
that people latch on to.
different takes
Um,
to get used to.
yeah, which I get, because a lot of it is like, a lot of how people play is, when it comes to Call of Duty games, you got to hit that campaign, and then it's multiplayer for the rest of the life cycle.
Yeah,
It's just kind of the habit, but campaigns, if they're done right, they just can be really immersive and really entertaining and fun, and it's cool, and it's fun when I like the what's called like loot shooter games a lot, which it's a game where you're fighting to upgrade your gear or your guns and things like that.
okay. You're trying
And
to. There's something that you're earning along
yeah,
the way.
but the story has a lot to help with that engagement. Otherwise, and that's I think that's what killed Godfall for me, because Godfall is what's called it's a slasher shooter, because there's no guns in Godfall. It's just weapons. But it's the same concept where you're fighting to upgrade your gear. But if you don't have that story to help you, and you strip the story away, you're literally going into a mission, killing things, getting loot, killing things, getting loot. And if there's no purpose to doing that, it gets very dull and boring very fast. And that's
Yeah.
what killed Godfall, is the story was so basic. I mean, here's the Godfall story. Are you ready for it? You're
Did it
this
already
dude.
die since it only released a few weeks ago? Did it
Yeah,
already die?
yeah, it's dead, and I haven't even. I think I've played like 4 hours of it. I'll play it a little more, but here's the Godfall story. You're this guy. You've got to kill, I think, what your brother, or stop your brother from becoming a god, because we don't know why it matters if he becomes a god or not, and that's pretty much it. But you have to kill his like 6 generals first before you can finish him. But that's it. We don't know why we're doing this. We don't know why it's bad for him to become a god, besides the fact that he's apparently a bad person. But like, what made him that? What did we don't know. They just don't give you anything.
Yeah.
And it's like the entire story, you interact with, outside of like the people you fight, and the little bit of conversation I believe you have when you finally get to your brother or whoever he is, you interact with 2 things. They're not even people. They're this weird fucking floating head thing, and then some dude that's supposed to be this epic warrior or weaponsmith, but he holds a giant scroll in his backpack and has like a
Yeah.
glowy face. But that's it. Those are the only 2 things that you interact with. And it's like, and when you, in between missions, you have to run and talk to one, and then run across your like little hub to talk to the other, and then go back and talk to the first one, and then you go do the mission. The mission is always the same thing. You go kill a bunch of creatures and grab this thing, and then you go back and you talk to the floating face, and then you talk to the glowy face guy, and then you talk to the floaty face guy. Then you go do a mission, you kill a bunch of shit, you grab something, kill a general, and then guess what you do? And then, are you ready for this? After you do all that, this is what you do. You go back to the hub, you talk to the floaty face guy, you talk to the glowy face guy, you talk to the floaty face guy, you go do another mission, you kill a general, you come back, and that's the entire game. And it's like, that's why it died so fast for me. Like, the story has to be compelling to keep you engaged and make it fun.
Yeah.
All the mechanics go out the door if you don't have a reason to play, unless it's a scenario like Warzone, where you're playing with your friends and stuff, and the goal is to win, and it's different every time. It's the same concept. You get dropped out of a plane, a circle closes in and forces everyone into one point, and you kill people on the way, and you're supposed to be the last one alive. Like, that never changes, but how you do that is different every time. And you're playing with your friends, and you're communicating and having fun with your friends. So that type of repetitiveness is different, because it has that aspect. Godfall does have that aspect. You can play with other people, but you're not having that engagement with other real people. It's just NPCs. They're predictable. They're not challenging whatsoever. And I think the thing that was the icing on the cake for me with Godfall is the death mechanic, which is when you die and when you're fighting a boss, the bosses have like checkpoints on their health bar. And you hit a checkpoint, and then if you die, you respawn right there in front of the boss at that last health checkpoint. So it's like you can die a billion times and just grind down the health of the boss. Like it's almost like there's no punishment for death.
Yeah.
And that just makes it like the most unexciting thing.
You won't even try to save your own life because you
No,
just
like
know
that
that
the first boss I came across when I figured that out, I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to dodge this guy. I'm gonna go in and hammer him a few times, get to that checkpoint, die, reset with all my abilities and life all the way up, go hammer him until the next checkpoint, die, and that's it. Like there's no fun in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I've ranted on gaming enough, but the basics is I think that at the very least, Cyberpunk is going to be very successful. It's probably going to win Game of the Year. At the most,
I definitely would check out.
Yeah, I want you to check it out.
This conversation, I don't think I'll check out Godfall, but I'll probably check out Cyberpunk.
No, don't waste your time on Godfall. But at the very most, I think what Cyberpunk could possibly do, maybe not on the high level of like console releases, but on game releases, show like, hey, it's okay to push back your original release date and fix those couple things you found are big issues instead of releasing it and getting all the backlash that you released a game like that's disastrous. Real quick, last thing that's a good example, the Avengers game. Do you know how hard it is to fail at anything with Marvel? And this game released with major bug issues to the point where some people, including myself, can't even get past a certain part of the game because it freezes and there's no fix to it.
Jesus Christ.
This game has lost Square Enix $95 million because they decided to stick with, I think they actually pushed it back a little bit, but they decided to release it when it was broken and not finished. And the community, once they started hitting those bugs and those glitches, they just ripped it to shreds, which instantly, it only takes that first wave of 100,000 people to give a negative review to have everyone else that was thinking about buying and go, whoa.
Or have the right following these days.
Yep, exactly, dude. It doesn't take much to have for a certain few voices to affect millions of people backing off buying the game. And that's exactly what happened. And you know what's sad, especially with that game, is the story was actually pretty cool. I haven't finished it, but it's pretty cool. I haven't finished it because I can't. With the point I'm at, it freezes and I can't do anything.
Yeah, so you'd rather just play the game and say,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's like, it's just crazy that you can bomb an Avengers game. Like it's not that. I mean, it's the Avengers. Like it's the biggest hype in entertainment.
Right, people will buy it. You know.
Yeah. So
that's tough.
So I'm eager to see how cleanly polished Cyberpunk is when it releases, and see if it gives that reality check to some of these other companies and saying like, hey, you know what? Maybe it is better to just kind of chill, push back a couple months, and focus on fixing these things. We'll see.
8 years, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, they didn't push it back 8 years. They always had that. They had that date for, and this is the coolest thing. Last thing I promise, but this is, so I watched the other night, I watched the original, like teaser trailer just for fun. And what I never caught or never put in my mind until now is at the end, it's straight up, they have a little like typewriter font comes out and it says, releasing when ... the game is ready. And it's like, damn, they really stuck to that, dude. So
yeah, that's good. That's
cool. I just saw that and I read that and I was laughing. I was like, well, at least they stuck to that comment. So I mean, they've pushed the game back. By the time it releases, it will have been pushed back, I think, 8 months from original release.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Well, let's shift gears from esports to team sports, and let's talk a little bit about what's happening throughout the NFL right now in terms of, what's happening with COVID-19. Things are on the rise. We touched on a little bit, in our own hometowns, but, it's its own element. throughout the 32 teams in the league. And, most notably, we've had Steelers and Ravens were postponed to today, which was a weird Wednesday game.
I
But at the
know.
same time, we've got situations where we're playing practice squad wide receivers at quarterback for the Denver Broncos, and we've got the Niners who are homeless for the next 3 weeks down in Arizona. So it's definitely weird. It's an interesting season, and so it's like, I have the question to you, dude. It's like, do you think that there will be a single game that officially is canceled and not played, not made up in any way, shape, or form?
No, I don't think so. The NFL is way too selfish to do that, especially this far into the season. I mean, if they're willing to kick a team out of their state and force them to play in another state.
Well, the NFL didn't kick them out.
Well, yeah, I know it was the Niners' choice, but
no, it was this county of Santa Clara.
Yeah, they shut down all contact sports.
Nothing can operate here, so
Yeah.
they didn't really have a choice but to find another home.
Yeah. But I mean, so I'm sure you remember I was pretty salty about the fact that the Niners game a few weeks ago wasn't postponed. When we had the wide receiver outburst or whatever. But I mean, if they're willing to let a game go when the entire quarterback roster cannot play, I feel like they're willing to do whatever to get that full season in, because this is the mindset, which is total bullshit, is it's a full season. There will be no asterisks on it or anything like that because they played the full season. But is it really fair? No.
When you look at a game like, oh, well, look at what happened in week 12 when we had this guy. There's an asterisk there because this guy played quarterback, not this guy.
But that'll be overshadowed by the fact that it was in the history. When we look back 10 years from now, the reality is, oh, well, this wasn't a 60 game season compared to a 160 game season. Or, oh, this wasn't a season that had to get played in a bubble and 90% of the season didn't get played like the NBA. They'll look at it and say, oh no, there's nothing wrong with this whatsoever because they played the whole season. And it sucks because the Broncos were never going to be contenders for anything, but it's still the simple fact, it's not fair. It was totally not fair. They had no shot whatsoever. They didn't even get a completed pass until the second quarter of the game, and the entire game only had one completed pass. Like, it was a complete fucking joke.
I mean, not only are you playing a guy who, basically, he was on the practice squad, but as a wide receiver and hadn't played quarterback since his freshman year at college, when he only played 3 games and then he switched over to wide receiver. And so it's like, he's taken some snaps, but like he hasn't even like taken a snap in practice with these guys or done anything like that. It's like he barely got to know the playbook or like knocked the rust off of like completing a pass. And so it's really hard under those circumstances to expect or have any sort of expectations of success for those type of players.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's like the NFL is a next man up league, and I commend them for that. I think hopefully what this will shine a light on is a little bit of the policies and procedures they put in place around COVID may not be working in this sense, because it's like, they probably could have been able to sign somebody else, but there's a quarantine period. And it's like, well, if so-and-so could have proven that they've already been quarantining, then you should be able to sign them.
Yeah.
Or if they're testing positive, so many times, within the days leading up, or testing negative, sorry, within the so many days leading up to it, well, then they should also be able to be signed and be able to be played if the team feels that that's a better option, rather than mandatory so many days.
Yeah.
Why there's so many days, but just because they entered your team's protocols on said day and they need to go through X number of days in your team's protocols doesn't necessarily make much sense if they've already been doing things that are in parallel with your protocols outside of this, So like they could have signed Colin Kaepernick if they needed to.
Yeah.
Now, who's to say he's not at home quarantining or could take a COVID test, one of the rapid tests 2 days in a row and pass it with flying colors and be able to play on a Sunday, especially since you knew this information on a Wednesday going into Sunday's game. So it's certainly possible. It's just like everything came down to a shotgun season. We've got to get this negotiated between the NFL and the NFLPA and whatnot. And it's like, obviously there were going to be certain circumstances that were unaccounted for, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
really interesting.
what was mind blowing to me, and I kind of laughed at first, but then after thinking about it, is the Broncos' original plan was to suit up a coach, and in the reality, they probably would have had a better chance with that coach because that coach is familiar with the playbook, has been practicing with those players, and the NFL denied it for, I mean, probably the reality of the fact that they're not a registered player, but I feel like that would have been more fair.
Neither is, but like, okay, he might not be a registered player, but the guy who was signed from the practice squad to start was also a salesman about 4 days prior to that. So
Yeah.
you're telling me that he's a more of a registered player than that coach?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure they both could go through the same process to become a registered player in that time period.
Yeah.
So
I still stick by,
basically.
yeah. I still stick by my big picture thought of it's a snowball effect in the sense of like this team was basically given no opportunity to win, which gave the other opportunity a freebie in a sense, and that affects every other team in the division and in the conference because now this team has theoretically, I mean, not, it just, what if this was in the playoffs?
Yeah, which it certainly could be in a few weeks.
Like, that's where my head's at, where it's like you stole an opportunity from a team that, if this was a playoff scenario, you stole an opportunity from a team to get a possible win, and you handed a win to a team that might not have necessarily been able to earn that win in a regular scenario. Now, yes, I understand that players get injured, but this is different. This isn't the lead quarterback getting injured and, freaking Fitzpatrick coming in to play or whoever, This is the NFL going, oh, your lead quarterback tested positive. He's been chilling with all the other quarterbacks, so none of y'all can play, and totally screwing that team out of any realistic opportunity of winning. And it's one of the things that you like. I understand you have to look at it from both sides. What if they did win?
This was the third string quarterback that tested positive.
All right,
because
I'm sorry. Yeah,
but same thing.
And like you kind of have to look at it both ways. Or it's like, what if they did win?
Yeah,
no one would be talking about it. But the reality is,
like, Jacoby Brissett, if he won,
But the reality is, they didn't win, and they didn't have the opportunity to win because you didn't let them have the opportunity. You didn't give them the opportunity to win. And that's where I feel like it's unfair.
Here, on the flip side of this, when I think about this, I'm like, okay, when you look at games or sports like baseball and basketball, I feel like you have a lot more interchangeable parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you got guys who came up as a third baseman who are now playing left field, or you got guys who came up as this, like Pablo Sandoval came up as a catcher and never played third base until he stepped in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Like shit like that. Where I get it, where there's guys who play quarterback and then end up receiver in the NFL, or
it's very rare though. It's more rare than position moves in baseball.
Yeah, but my point is like, it's like football has become so specialized. That's why we've got 11 different players on offense and 11 different players on defense. And it's like,
yeah,
I wish it wasn't so specialized so that these things could be more interchangeable when they need to be, and what I'm talking about more so is the interchangeable aspects could also so much so benefit the team's success in a way that we can throw so many different people out there to confuse the defense, not just because we have limited personnel to play this week.
Yeah.
If more teams looked at the quarterback position as they did a pitcher in baseball, And, oh, if this guy's not doing well by the second quarter, we're gonna yank him and send somebody else in there like a relief pitcher. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean this guy's getting benched and he's never gonna be our quarterback again, because that's how it's always perceived in the
Yeah.
NFL, that, "Oh, this guy got benched, he's terrible, like,
He's
what the hell's
done.
going on with this guy? He's done."
Yeah.
No, like, it could be that he's just off today, he's not
Yeah.
having a good day, or he's not reading the defense well, and let's get a spark in here by our number 2 guy and see if we can get something, and then we'll reset next week, you know?
You know what's crazy about that theory? Because you've talked to me about that theory before, and you know what the craziest thing about that theory is, Dan, is the NFL is so much about money
Yeah.
that could realistically make it to where they could play more than one game a week.
Well, and the other thing about that is they were realistically, it will help the salary cap so much, because you will be looking at 2 or 3 different guys and spreading that money out instead of paying one guy $35 million.
Yeah.
Now you feel like you have to play him because you're paying him $32 million than more than number 2.
Yeah.
You know? And how
I
is that
got you.
gonna look if the guy who only makes $3 million is playing quarterback and the guy who's making 35 is sitting on the sidelines?
Mhm.
Look at Philadelphia, Carson Wentz, for example.
Yeah.
The only reason he hasn't got benched yet is because he's making so much
Oh
goddamn
yeah,
money,
he's playing like
you
shit.
know? It's like Jalen Hurts, I mean, should be in there,
Mhm.
especially a rookie standpoint. Let's see what he's got. Let's see if he can bring a spark to this team. Let's see if he can be their future. Maybe we got a trade candidate on our hands with Carson Wentz. You never know. But it's like the money dictates so much of what the team needs to do in a way that they can justify it to the public, to where they should be looking at things like the quarterback room shouldn't be 3 people deep. It should be 6 or 7 people deep, and it should be looked at like the bullpen in baseball. And it should be like, okay, you know what? Like think about what Sean Payton's doing in New Orleans. Like, he's got Taysom Hill and he's using him as at other weapons. And because he's using him at other weapons, like even when Drew Brees is healthy, he's able to, like, all right, Drew Brees is on the sidelines for a couple plays, Taysom Hill's in there. Defense doesn't know what the fuck's gonna come.
Yeah.
Like, that's another weapon.
Yeah.
And if you're able to do that, then now you can interchange these parts, A, when people get hurt, B, when they're just not having a good game or they've thrown 2 or 3 interceptions and we need to change something up to get a spark. It's like you have the ability there. The system has tried to say that this is the right way and the only way to play this guy all 4 quarters, every game, because he's your guy. Well, maybe he's not.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not always your guy. You
Yeah.
know, there's some guys that are always the guy, like Mahomes and Rodgers and
Mhm.
things like that. But there's other guys like Jimmy Garoppolo who are on the cusp that maybe we do running backs by committee. We do other things by committee. Why can't we do a quarterback by committee?
Yeah.
You know?
I think it would also make for higher scoring games, which is always more entertaining. Higher
Mhm.
scoring in any sport is more entertaining, except for basketball.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. If you've got one guy behind center
I mean,
all the
technically, it
time.
is still fun, more fun in basketball too.
Yeah, I mean, but if you got one guy behind center all the time, okay, well now there's only one set of circumstances in every formation that we need to look for and do this. But the minute you throw different guys that have different abilities under center, well, now the defense has to account for 3 different scenarios or however many different scenarios that could be in play based on the different skill sets that are there at quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's really gonna, like, screw some shit up. And that's why I don't understand why people don't do it more, you know?
Yeah, the saddest thing about that, it's such a great concept and idea, but it's sad because the reality is it'll never happen because all those high paid players right now would throw a fucking shit fit because their salary would probably get cut
Yeah.
drastically.
Well, I remember when, like, Brady, like, first took over for Bledsoe,
Mhm.
way back when, and it's when Bledsoe finally got healthy, and they're like, "Okay, what the hell are we gonna do? We got Bledsoe. Brady's been doing good, though. Alright, we'll give Bledsoe the first half, we'll give Brady the second half, and we'll see how things go." And then, but that just turns into more quarterback controversy. It
Yeah.
doesn't actually turn into, "Hey, they got 2 really good guys, and they're really
Yeah.
gonna screw up this other team's defense because they're not gonna know what hit them." It's like,
Yeah,
if people
that design was more for them to give reason why they're
that was
gonna go
more
with
for
one over the other.
evaluating what their
Yeah.
future was gonna be, but if you really look at it like like, let's say, for example, okay, um, I'm just using this team and these players as an example because of their longevity so far in the league. The Houston Texans have Deshaun Watson at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's say the Houston Texans draft another quarterback next year and within the top 2 rounds, and it's more of a pocket passer who doesn't have as much ability with his legs as Deshaun Watson does. Okay. The media and the team is going to spin it like, oh my God, they don't have faith in Deshaun Watson. Yada,
Yeah.
yada, yada. Like, oh my God, is he done? Like, what's going on in Houston? Whereas the coaching staff could be looking at it like, hey, best available on the board. This guy's going to give us a chance to win, just like Deshaun Watson. And think they both do things differently. We're going to throw defenses off. We're going to be able to throw him in on this set, him in on this set, and then we're going to be able to do that whenever the hell we want.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to be able to know what hit him. It's like if teams took that approach, and that buy-in was there from the players, and it was there from the media, and it was there from all the critics and the analyzers and all the fans. It's just like it's the same concept of I'm going to start this guy in baseball. He got us to the 6th inning. Okay, well, now I need to get through the lineup a couple more times. I need to bring in my left-hand specialist. Then I need to bring in this guy in the 8th inning to set these guys up for the closer who's going to knock it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I bet you if things were treated a little bit this way, number one, you're driving that salary cap at that position back down to a much more manageable number because
Mm-hmm.
you have to spread it out, and because you think about the Niners situation with running back by committee. Nobody's paid over $5 million.
Yeah.
We don't have a $15 million running back, but we've got some damn good running backs
Yeah.
because it's known that we're doing it by committee, so we're spreading the dollars out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're not committed to one guy. And what if he doesn't perform well? Well, then what? You
Yeah.
know, it's the same situation we're sitting with Jimmy G. It's like he's getting paid so much money, and people are like, "Is he really the guy?"
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, it's easy to say that when he's getting paid this, and Mullins and CJ are getting paid way down here.
Yeah.
You know, but if you've got guys of equal skill sets that bring different things to the table, and you can pay one guy $8 million, one guy $9 million, one guy $10 million, or whatever. Hey. It's so much easier to justify your moves at that point, you know?
Yeah. That would be that'd be interesting. You know, it would only take one team. It would only take one team to do it, but they'd have to win. They'd have to win it all for it
Or
to
at least make the
change.
playoffs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it'd need more than playoffs, just because that'd be such a big shift in how things are done. I think for it to be like the change, the thing that made the change, they'd have to win it all. It'd have to be
But
a team
almost
that
like
won it all,
almost
dude.
what's happening in New Orleans, I kinda see somewhat of a blueprint of how this could be going,
Yeah.
and it's more so because Drew Brees is, let's say, type A quarterback, pocket passer, traditionalist. Taysom Hill is now this new age quarterback who can run and is very physical and can do those kind of things, right? Well, they've had a history of playing them both at the same time, or utilizing Hill as a tight end or a fullback or a halfback, or even putting him behind center as a quarterback from time to time, right? But let's say you were able to do this hybrid model with more of your aging quarterback. Like, what if Tampa Bay had something like this and they could spare Tom Brady a few plays here and there and throw this wrinkle in to the fold? You know what I mean? Do the same thing now with Aaron Rodgers coming up. He's got Jordan Love, you know, like they can do some things like that.
Yeah.
So it really gets my wheels spinning. And I'm just like, I feel like the NFL is such a creature to where, I mean, think about it. When it comes to the draft, it's like there's so many mock drafts that it's like everybody knows who everyone's going to draft. And it's almost like if you got a top 5 pick and you don't draft who's been mock draft to you, then
Mhm.
you made a wrong decision. And if it doesn't work out, you better be prepared to either get fired or explain yourself. And so it's like if you take the safe route of what people expect you to do, then it's easier for you to justify what you did. And if it doesn't work out, well, then we can just chalk it up to it doesn't work out rather than me making a bad decision. But if you take a stab at something and try something new and it doesn't work out, there's a bigger fallout from that than there is if you're trying something new and you're leaning on the statistical data of what this person can do and what this person can do. And if we utilize both strengths, we can really drive our success to this level,
Mhm.
you know? And people are too afraid, I think, to actually take that on and really put themselves out there and have to explain that, during to a climate around the NFL that's always done things a certain way, and if you deviate from this, you're gonna look more like somebody who doesn't know what they're doing than somebody who's trying to be innovative,
Yeah. Yeah.
to a
Good point.
degree. So I would like to see a little bit more things shaken up and a little bit more position interchangeability. I mean, think about it. Like we got wide receivers now who are acting like running backs, like
Yeah.
Debo Samuel and things like that. So it's like, why can we do it in certain positions, but we can't do it in others?
I'd love to see it in an aspect of a player that plays both sides of the field. That would be
Yeah.
interesting to see. That but was
Yeah.
good at it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like the easiest for that would be wide receiver and defensive back.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like if you can run to catch the ball, you can run to stop the ball, to block the ball.
Well, I mean, look at Richard Sherman. Like he was recruited to Stanford as a wide receiver,
Mhm.
and the reason he changed the defense was not because he thought he'd be a better cornerback. He changed the defense because he didn't get along with Jim Harbaugh, who ran the offense at Stanford. So he's
Yeah.
like, I don't want anything to do with you. I'd rather go play defense than fulfill my scholarship as an offensive player.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different. But at the same time, it's like he took his offensive knowledge and applied it on the defensive side while also learning defense and became the best in the biz at it. So it's like people have done these transitions before where what we've seen wide receivers become DBs and become successful at it and vice versa. So why can't we do more of this? And if we're going to do other positions at committee, why can't we do, even more positions at committee?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. The
I'd
question
like to
needs
see
to be asked, the conversations need to be had, and I think somebody needs to fucking try it.
I'm all for it.
I mean, I would think like if I'm the Jets or I'm, a franchise like this that's like totally tanking right now, and I'm a coach and I'm probably on the way out to begin with.
Good
I'd be
opportunity
doing-
to test some
Yeah,
things.
exactly. Because if you hit lightning in a bottle, you're a genius all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You
And if
know,
it
and
bombs, nothing changes.
if you bomb, you're just trying every scenario you can think of to try to get a win,
Yeah.
right? And so it's easy to justify it at that point. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, do it, get it done. So. But I think that's it, dude. I think that's it for episode 20.
Yeah. It's a good one for 20, man.
Yeah.
Episode 20 in 2020 is complete.
Yeah.
Too bad it's
a lot of
not
fun.
like December 20th. That'd be kind of cool.
No, that would be cool. That'd be a lot of weird 20s.
Yeah.
The roaring 20s.
Well, at least this was a good 20. We need
This
we need some good 20s.
This was the best 20 of 2020 so far,
Yeah, I think so.
I will say.
All right, my friend, everyone that's been watching or listening, thank you very much. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. If you're listening, thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Later.